So this January, I've made $4,000 doing video editing, which may sound cool, but I'm gonna be completely honest, I was miserable. Working all day, every day, just trying to get by somehow, trying to get all the client work done without missing deadlines. Then 3 months later, so this April, I've made $8,000, all while having time to spend with friends, go gym, basically do all the things that keep you sane, make you enjoy life, and ensure that you're actually happy about the work that you do. The main factor that contributed to this jump in income from 4 to 8K, all while not being overworked, is the fact that I dialed in my routine around deep work, which allowed me to be way more productive and get way more done in less time. And I'm gonna assume you know what deep work is. It's kind of this state of mind where you're just focused on one thing, you're not distracted, and you're getting a lot of stuff done. But there are a lot of techniques out there and tactics on how to actually get into this state of deep work flow, which I have tried, if not all of them, then the vast majority. Some worked, some didn't. But in this video, I want to share with you 3 hacks that helped me the most when it comes to getting in this mega productive state easier, staying there for longer, and as a result, just getting more done in less time, which is exactly what we want, right? So I think a huge benefit of working for someone, which is exactly what you do when you do video editing because you're working for your clients, is the fact that you have someone to whom you're responsible to. Number one thing that helps me get into deep work and just be productive no matter what is having that deadline pressure and not wanting to let my client down. It's way harder to put pressure on yourself when you're working on something personal where there is no one really on your ass, no one really relies on you, and you don't have a strict deadline, which is exactly what happens to me with these YouTube videos. Like, I take ages to make them just because I come up with all the bullshit excuses like, oh, I need to do research and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, I know if I don't post the video tomorrow, nothing really is gonna happen. But if I don't make this client's video until the deadline is due, my client is not gonna be able to post it, so they're probably gonna lose money. And personally, I for sure don't want to be a part of something like that. I just don't want to be a root cause of a problem, right? The problem with deadlines though, and how majority of video editors approach them, is they have one really big deadline for the whole video. So let's say 1 week. The problem with this is throughout this week, you're probably not gonna be that motivated to do the work until the last couple of days, just because 7 days is a pretty large amount of time. So what I highly recommend you do is set mini deadlines for yourself instead, and actually tell them to your client to have that piece of accountability. For example, let's say it's Monday and the client sends you the footage for the video that needs to be done by Sunday. Instead of disappearing for 6 or so days, you tell the client that you're gonna get cuts done by, let's say, tomorrow morning, so Tuesday morning. And bonus points if you actually go ahead and after getting that cut version done, you render it out and you send it over to the client, because that's just extra accountability. Like, you for sure will get the cuts done by Tuesday morning this way. And what I found with especially high paying clients, they're always kind of down to collaborate a bit more. So especially with this first version of just cuts, just structure of the video, they usually would like to go over it just to see if everything they want is included in the video. Maybe they want to remove, rearrange, or add something. After you get the cuts done, you just go ahead and repeat the same cycle with the rest of the video. So you tell the client that you're gonna have all the visuals done by Wednesday evening. And the thing with these mini deadlines is you want to make them reasonably unreasonable. So you want to make them a bit tighter than you would want to, ideally. Let's say you know that you can get graphics done in 3 days, like all the visuals. You just tell the client that you're gonna get it done in 2 days. And that pressure is exactly what's gonna make you be just more productive, get into deep work easily, and get more done in less time. So really, in this scenario, everyone is happy because the client expected to get the video done in 7 days and you got it done in 4, so they got their video faster. You got paid the same amount of money for 4 days of work instead of 7, so obviously you're happy as well. And what I found, at least personally for me, the quality of the videos doesn't go down. My theory on why is that my brain and creativity are kind of ready to go all the time, but they actually get enabled when the deadline pressure is on. So problems might arise if your brain and creativity are not ready to go all the time, because when you put that pressure of deadline, it all just may fall apart. So now you might be asking, how do you have your brain and creativity ready to go at all times? Well, that's my next point. So we have this hormone called dopamine. It's released when we do fun activities, and it's actually pretty important for us video editors. Because how the whole thing works is, because video editing is such a hard, boring, mentally and time-consuming task, the client is willing to pay a lot of money just to get rid of it. And the thing is, when you leverage dopamine effectively, you can make tasks such as video editing, which are boring and annoying by their nature, you can make them more fun. And when you're looking forward to sitting down and editing for 4 hours straight, getting into deep work is no problem. Dopamine baseline determines if the activity feels fun or not. The higher the baseline, the higher the threshold for the activity to feel fun, which is something we don't want because, as I said, video editing by its nature is very hard and boring. So to make it feel at least a bit fun, we have to keep our dopamine levels nice and low. And we do that by choosing to do less fun activities throughout the day, just because they don't release that much dopamine. For example, I go gym. It takes me 20 minutes to walk there, 1.5 hours to get the workout in, and 20 minutes to walk back home. So that's more than 2 hours, which I could be blasting loud hip-hop music in my headphones for the whole time, which is very fun and releases lots of dopamine. So when I get home and try to work, editing a video just by itself is gonna seem incredibly boring. I would need to constantly switch between tabs, text someone, and have a YouTube video playing on a side just to kind of keep me going. And with a setup like that, you're obviously not gonna be able to get into deep work, and most likely you're just not gonna end up doing any work at all. So instead of blasting loud hip-hop music for 2 hours straight, it's way better to listen to a podcast or not listen to anything at all. So when you get home from a boring ass 20-minute walk, editing a video actually won't seem that much more boring, which is why you're gonna be able to just sit down, actually focus on editing the video, not have your phone around or anything like that, and get into that deep work flow state and just be mega productive. And you might not go to the gym, which is obviously a shame, but you still can apply this concept to your day-to-day. You surely do walk from school or from uni to your home, so just don't listen to music while walking and walk in silence. Don't watch YouTube while eating. Oh, and by the way, stuff like not watching YouTube while eating is especially helpful because it trains your brain to not multitask, because basically deep work is all about focusing on just one thing, and that's where you're the most productive. So if you stop multitasking in your day-to-day and practice more of a multitask activities, like just eating without anything, it's gonna help you get better at being productive while working too. And another good example is I got myself this thing called Kindle. It's basically like a ebook reading device, but essentially what I do is every time I need to kill like 10 minutes on my phone now, I just read instead of scrolling Instagram reels. And that activity is way less stimulating. So when I try to do some work right after that, it's way easier for me to get into, again, that deep work state and just be more productive. If you want to learn more about this thing and also kind of replace your phone, you can just search up Amazon Kindle. I'm sure you're gonna find it. And you might think that choosing lower dopamine activity throughout the day is just gonna make you depressed because life is gonna be incredibly boring. But the thing is, when you bring that dopamine baseline thing down, all the normal activities that's not that stimulating are gonna seem actually way more fun. So eating healthy is gonna seem way more tasty and fun when you just eat healthy instead of when you sprinkle junk food here and there, because junk food spikes your dopamine, then healthy food tastes worse than it actually is, if that makes sense. So we've covered the brute force method of getting yourself into deep work by setting tight deadlines to have that pressure, and making work seem more fun by making your day-to-day seem less fun. Which is really good, but I feel like lots of video editors struggle when they actually sit down and try to do the work. And the thing that helped me the most here is cleaning up both my physical and digital environments. So physical just basically means that clean up your room and especially your desk where you're gonna do the work. Make sure that you have only the stuff that you need to do the work on your desk, like a mouse and a keyboard and monitors and stuff like that. Don't have any random cups, plates, bottles of water on your desk. But digital is a bit more interesting and I feel like it's very overlooked. Like me, for example, I've tried doing deep work on the same computer that I have Discord and WhatsApp opened on while having my phone around with all the annoying notifications and stuff like that. So the first thing that you want to actually dial in when it comes to your digital environment is your phone. Non-negotiable, I think, is just turn off all the notifications like cold turkey. It's actually not that scary as it sounds, and a couple weeks later you wonder how were you even living with notifications on, because you just realize that you're way less anxious and the life is just way better this way. Also, I use this app called OneSec, ONESEC, 6 letters, one word. It basically, you can choose the apps that you don't want to go on, like Instagram, for example. And when you open Instagram, this OneSec app pops up and it makes you wait for like 10 seconds or so before opening Instagram. And what happens most of the time is during this 10 seconds, you realize that you don't want to open Instagram in the first place and you just put your phone away, which is really helpful. And if you want to go full monk mode, then you can try setting your phone's like screen colors on black and white. You can just search up on YouTube how to do that. Personally, I've tried that a couple of times and I just bitched out every single time because I know it just gets too bad. Like you cannot use your phone at all. So I just set it back to normal every time. Now, when you do all that to your phone and you just don't have it around while working, the next thing that might distract you is the actual computer that you're trying to work on. Two main things here is just cleaning up your desktop. Honestly, it should be empty at all times. I don't see why would it have anything there, because each shortcut is just another chance of you to get distracted. And then on your like that bar that you have at the bottom of the screen, taskbar, menu bar, I'm not sure what's it called. All I have there is just Adobe apps like Premiere, After Effects, Media Encoder, Photoshop, Illustrator, basically just the stuff that I need for work. And then 2 extra apps are Notion and Clockify that I use for time tracking. But the main thing is not having any messengers or social media on there. And in general, making social media and messengers and all this stuff as hard to access as possible, making sure that you just can't access it with one click at any time. And that's gonna help a lot with getting your deep work in. And if you're someone like me and you're using Google Chrome to gather assets while you're editing, I highly recommend, first of all, creating a separate Chrome profile just for your work and not opening your personal Chrome profile while you're working at all. And second of all, installing Undistracted extension on your work profile. It's gonna ensure that when you go on YouTube, for example, to download a sound effect, you're not gonna see all the shiny thumbnails that you really want to click on. Or when you go on Instagram to download your client's photo, you're not gonna see all of your friends' stories that you would really love to watch right now. So it's really helpful. Now, that's it for today, but remember how I told you in the beginning that I went from making 4K in January to making 8K in April, so just 3 months later? Well, obviously deep work was a big part of that, but also just the fact that I've raised my prices really helped. And I've actually ended up raising my prices to $2,000 per single 10 to 18 minute YouTube video. And if you click on the video you see on screen right now, you're gonna learn the 3 main lessons I've learned from charging $2,000 per video. So go check that out. See ya.